Aponia. If you're free to play, this is an easy skip. Unless she's been on your checklist for forever. If you're low budget, same rules apply, right? You only roll if she's like your favorite character. If you're a high spender new to the game and you're trying to catch up, you know, S0, S2, or double S, all reasonable if you're spending. If you're trying to finish the set, or you're a new player trying to catch up and you've got the budget to do so, Xeno banner is pretty good to do that with. If you're free to play, don't even waste your time here. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay, so notable off rates. Crusher Bunny is a nice to have, but not mandatory. Not. Let me turn the music down. Can you guys hear me over the music? I can't even hear myself over the music. Yeah, it looks like Crusher Bunny's the only notable off rate. Everything else is like, well, Keys of Oblivion is kind of nice to have. Yeah, Keys of Oblivion, Crusher Bunny. Everything else is kind of old meta and or craftable, right? Pledge of Sakura is craftable. Path to Acheron's not really used as much these days, even though it's still nice to have in your inventory for situational. Stigmata off rates. Let me do this so you guys can see it below my web camera. Yeah, S2. So Icefire says Aponia S2 is more than enough. Her double S rank up isn't a big increase. Yeah, but S2 at double S, some high spender collectors want to have it neat. Some high spender collectors might just want the extra attack. I don't know. Kronos, if you're still in the chat, why did you double S your Aponia? I don't know. Depends on how min-maxing you want to get. I think S2's a modern sweet spot for a lot of base S rank battle suits. Some high spenders just want to see 3 S's. Thank you, Lilo. Not to discount Icefire's point. Icefire does have a higher budget than others, so his point is valid. Is very valid. A lot of the battle suits, I want to say ever since the beginning of this year, have been notably, like, even going far back, it's like Silverwing at the beginning of the year. S2 has been a very solid sweet spot. Yeah, we can even trace it back to like a little bit of last year too, right? Like HFS S2 was like, that was like a major SP regen point. They just want those low spenders to escalate a little bit. All right, back to this banner review. Xeno Turgenev is a notable off rate. Everything else is kind of like specific for another character. Margrave's craftable. So Turgenev is definitely the most notable off rate. But Turgenev also has its own up rate banner in Focus Supply B. And if Turgenev is what you're looking for, then Focus Supply B is where we're going to go next. Ragna would be good for Spina. Ragna is actually a decent all-around fire set if you're willing to give up certain set bonuses. And then Linnaeus, you can use Linnaeus as a placeholder for lightning DPS. But I think in most cases you would just have a set of handle lightning G4 instead. So just to review, right? The only roll on Focus A if you're trying to finish out gear for Aponia, and you're only rolling on Aponia if you either have the budget to try to catch up, she's your favorite character, a combination of the two. If you're low budget, free to play, and you're concerned about meta and she's not your favorite character, probably skip unless you just want that extra quality of life. Okay, Focus B. This is a nice one, right? Turgenev, everybody loves Turgenev. Even nowadays, Turgenev top and bottom stays very universally used. Crusher Bunny 19C, there's a handful of situations where it's still good, and then having full set of Turgenev is still nice because a few fights, like ranged Asaka, for instance, Haxor Bunny does come out ahead. Quality of life kind of defines Aponia. HT does well on her bosses, but the skill required to get those scores is way higher. Yeah, just look at how much effort Fragile has put into routing that run. Okay, let's take a look here. Notable off rates. So, Eye of Collapse. That's actually very important for players who did not play during chapter 23. No, chapter 26 to 28. If you missed out on the Colosten arc and you missed out on Eye of Collapse? Well, no, Eye of Collapse was earlier than that, right? Eye of Collapse was during the HOD arc, I think. And then Colosten was Cerulean Flare. Or was it both? I think it was both during Colosten. Because Eye of Collapse was the event reward, but then Cerulean Flare was a patch-specific reward. Well, if you are rolling on this banner, Eye of Collapse is a notable pickup. Astral Rend is actually very significant, and Cerulean Flare is an off rate on this banner. Wow, look at that! Hecate's Gloom is a nice to have, but not high priority, and Tranquil Arius is a classic. Classic all-arounder placeholder pistol for total damage, elemental damage. Not really used as much these days, except in a few scuff strat, low budget, low gear, low inventory situations where you just don't have anything better. But overall, the only thing that's like not useful would be Alair Serenity from the weapon list. And again, this is more like if you're a newer player and you just don't have a lot of inventory. Any of these weapons as off rates is a good boost for the account in the sense that you have more options open. They might not be the best in slot, but at least, you know, if you get Hecate's or if you get... Well, Astral Rend is pretty current because Astral Rend goes with Spina, and Spina is technically current. She's modern. Cerulean Flare, high utility, and Tranquil Arius is like a, you know, a generic backup. Alright, so looking at the Stigmata right here. Turgenev, of course, is what we're here for. Raksha, I know a lot of people are still looking for their missing pieces of Shattered Swords. Again, reminder, don't go out of your way to roll only for off rates. However, you know, if you get a piece of Raksha, if you get a piece of the Shattered Sword set, it's not a bad thing. Dupes are valuable for that character, you know, so that you can do different affixes. So this one is still relevant in a lot of situations, I'd say. Dante TM is ideal, but not mandatory. There's a couple of niche use cases outside of using Dante for BKE. I don't remember too many off the top of my head. I think a lot of them revolve around Dante M, if I recall correctly. Players in the chat, let me know, because I can't remember. Columbus, great charge attack set. It's kind of like a 0.5 above Kafka. 0.5 to 1 times up from Kafka. I wouldn't be surprised if Columbus becomes craftable in the near future as a tier 3, as a G3. Columbus slightly less strong than Elysia, which is the next one, but Elysia is craftable. So if you can craft Elysia, you might not need Columbus or you know, that urgently. So Dante M on Delta. What was the was it a specific use case to reduce the evasion cooldown or ult cooldown? I don't remember the strat off the top of my head, because I feel like the last few times I've ever had to use Delta was like, it was so long ago. Maybe it's like a double sleeper strat. Her ult counts as a retaliation, so you can use it to reduce the cooldown. No, I'm pretty sure it didn't. Her ult is like a counter. The weapon active does damage to yourself. and you have to parry it, but it doesn't. Okay, and that's what gives you mantle. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Dante M would be the desired piece. Dante TM would be desired if you have Bright Knight. Hopefully, if you have Bright Knight, you have Abyss Flower, because you do not want to be running Alaire Serenity. I mean, you can, but your results may vary, but results may be very bad. That about covers Focus B. Uh, but yeah, Turgenev still worthwhile. Overall, this banner is kind of good. I feel like the Stigmata is a little bit iffy, but overall, I'd say the Turgenev banner is much better than this one. The Xeno banner is very niche. I think Reaper was rolling on Xeno to try to snipe the last piece. Elf Supply, Klein, the first of the Switch reset elves. 3-star is the sweet spot. 4-star is pretty strong. 2-star, you at this point, this time last year we would have been like, yeah, 2-star Klein, get that Switch reset. But at this point, I would not roll if you're only gonna go for 2-star. Because Blade Durandal last week was just a much better value if you're only going for 2-star. Now, what you can do is, if you haven't already spent your Anilons from the spending event, is you could roll 2-star here and then upgrade to 3-star from the spending event. That's viable. If you want to do the long con, you could say, I'll pick up 2-star here and then wait till next year's spending event. I don't know how patient you are, and who knows if we don't get another Lightning Elf in the meantime. So that's a bit more risky. I wouldn't recommend that, but just throwing that out as an option. Hopefully you aren't. Hopefully you're paying attention. You don't just think, oh, he said go for 2-star. And then Firepower Supply, nothing's changed, right? This is still here. 4 days left though, so keep in mind. So this goes away on Friday. And I think the special supplies we covered last week. Okay, that about does it for banner review for this week. I'm a couple days late, but yeah. The FOMO. Yeah, okay, so Icefire brings up. Icefire was still in Masters last time Klein was up, so you either have already decided you want to get Klein a while back, and this would be your opportunity to get Klein. If that was something that you planned for a while back. If you didn't plan on it, it depends how badly you're trying to chase the competitive side. I still certainly think that, Agony 3 Red Lotus, perfectly okay to play without Klein. On my NA account, I definitely did the long con where last year's spending event I unlocked 2-star because it was a Switch reset and I had the crystal saved up where I could get that through the spending event shop, and then this year I was able to upgrade to 3-stars. If you're not in that position, like just be patient. Now, if your focus is on a Lightning team, then I still think, building Klein is worthwhile for the 3-star Force QTE. Just a huge enabler for Lightning teams. Yeah, I think last year we went over on main, right? Because remember we were overflow on fragments on the main account. We went over because I bought fragments early when I didn't need to. On the alt account, I think we did get pretty good pulls. Oh, no. On the alt account, we kind of bombed out on Mobius gear. We were only able to snipe the weapon. We got full Raven gear, but we were only able to get the weapon by the end of the banner on Mobius. Because I remember we had to, scrape for crystals. And then we just unlocked Klein from the shop. 150 fragments unlock. It is what it is. But we were able to get full gear Mobius in 5.5 on the alt account afterwards. Force QTE is great for FR DPS. Yeah, that's a great point, Cupcake. Force QTE from Klein 3 stars is excellent, especially when you're running FR in teams that no longer have Ignite. Like a lot of modern FR DPS teams are starting to transition into Fischl Eden just to get more damage out. And in those situations, having Klein to be able to QTE back to FR, or just QTE in general for the whole team, uh, definitely is nice. Yeah, Force QTE is great for everything. Yeah, even Fushi, some some fire teams still run Fushi in MA just for that Force QTE. Maybe not just MA. I think there might be a few Abyss runs where Fushi's Force QTE comes in handy. I don't remember. Feels like it's been for a long time since we had like a non fire tank fire sequence. I don't know. My memory's all jumbled now. But yeah, anyways, that about covers the banner review. Focus B if you don't already have, your Turgenev set. Top and bottom is your ideal, but if you get full set, also still good. Especially if you missed out on Sushang gear and you're planning on building Sushang at a later date, which might be the case for some newer players. In those situations, Haxor Bunny is like, it's easier to just get your Haxor Bunny online that way. Yeah. Also, the artwork for this set is quite good, especially that beautiful B piece. Alrighty.